We need to up our game and shit. We need to do comedy butt naked, right?
Saying his goodbyes. He blew his eye socket off and his eyeball fell out.
White women keep kidnapping us. Y'all seen The Blind Side?
Aren't you glad we have that disclaimer at the beginning of the episode?
It's going to come in handy for this episode.
This week's episode of The Voice Party is brought to you by Big Boy Wraps. Get your car wrapped by some of the most experienced and skilled in the Bay. Big Boy Wraps, where the big boys play.
Welcome to this week's episode of The Voice Party. I am your host, Corday Snell. To my far right, we have the very far JD Arandia. Next to him, spinning around in this chair, trying to wake up, we have Marcos, bisexual Milnar.
What the fuck did you say?
Milnar.
You sound like a Lord of the Rings character. Milnar.
I don't know y'all last names, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I fucked this shit up, all right? Molinar. Okay, all right. Well, I just learned JD's last name a month ago?
No.
Took you 10 years.
You say it right.
Yeah, I said it right?
Snails.
You say it right. All right.
But I don't know you guys' names, so don't fuck mine up. Okay, cool. And across from us, we have the hilarious, the very funny, the best rapper in the group, and Mr. Knowing of every single random fact that you need to know, Black Joaquin. How are you doing, Black Joaquin?
I'm swell, man.
Boom the clock, Black Joaquin.
On the Voice Party.
What size bed do you have, Black Joaquin?
It's like a queen size.
I ain't never had a bed before.
And the guy making the noise on the ones and twos, we have Phil.
I'm mad with power.
No one gives a fuck about tomorrow's shoot.
No one gives a fuck about tomorrow's shoot right now. I just stroke my ego more that I'm not, like, all my sound bits are on there.
That is true. That is true.
That is not fair.
Yeah.
I had one of Joaquin saying something. Later on.
You just like, did you know?
I mean, to be fair, Marcos is the only one with like catchphrases.
That's true.
You could get one of Joaquin going, actually.
Yeah. Right?
You could just sound bit that real bit, or sound.
Oh, you could just like record one of JD just interrupting the guest.
That too. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Would you guys be mad if I booked the all Spanish podcast one day? Because I feel like I need to start picking up on the Spanish. Like,
I mean, are we supposed to just sit here
We're
and
just
just
gonna sit here
smile
and
and nod?
I will.
You know Spanish
now and
more
then
than
I'll
Marcos, fool.
That's hilarious.
This motherfucker is more Mexican than you, dog.
Every now and then
I gotta find a way to get dead Latino.
I guarantee you talk only Spanish on this podcast, and even if he knows more Spanish than me, he will get lost instantly.
No, for sure.
The same as us. Because you can know a little. I know very little. You can know a little more than me, and as soon as someone starts talking fast, you're trying to break down each word that you might know, and then by the time you're breaking this one down, he's 17 words ahead, and you have no idea.
Well, that's if we're like rapid fire.
Time to break out the Duolingo.
Yeah.
Because
there's a thing right now where it's expanding.
no one ever talks about manzanas.
You can't say that's someone else's joke. You can't say that.
It was a joke that we. Oh, fuck you.
You know,
What's manzanas?
You guys know.
It was Joseph Annalyn.
You guys know 2 nuts, 1 sack, right?
No, I never heard of that. What's that?
Well, this one told me that they said a joke or something, but it was, that's JD's joke. Like, bro, you're a podcast. I don't care. Like,
Oh, no. I'd come up with like this like bit, and I was like, oh, like cool, blah, blah, and I started typing it out like on our podcast sheet, and I was like reading it, and I was like laughing, and then I was like, wait, this sounds really familiar, and then I just kept saying it over in my head. And then I finished the joke, and I was like, "Oh, that's one of JD's jokes." Yeah. Like, I think I just like subconsciously thought about it, and so I scrapped it. And
You're over here stealing comics jokes. Okay.
No, I did not steal his joke. I scrapped it. We never even recorded it.
Remember the Fat Jew used to do that when he got popular back in the days?
So many people got mad about
Hella
that.
people hate that guy.
Because he got a show based off stolen jokes.
He turned them into memes.
Yeah.
That was like the first guy to do it.
But I didn't do that.
No.
I specifically said.
No, I appreciate it.
That's your joke, and I knew that. So
you could just give him credit on the podcast.
I will, like.
You don't have to, bro.
I will say, yeah, you do.
Intellectual property.
No, it is the same thing as like when you repost someone else's video in your video, you have to give credit to where you got the video from. Even if they're not the original person, at least tag the person that you took it from.
Yes.
And then if they didn't tag that person, that's on them. But you gave credit to where credit was due.
Yes.
That's why, like, I told him, like, you have to, like, tag the people for sure.
Yeah. Just
Always.
like, it's gonna be off topic, but I want to mention something that's cool because we talked about how you want to be an unhealthy comedian too.
Yeah.
And every once in a while we talk about unhealthy comedian or getting healthy. I want to give a shout out to someone here that's recently signed up for Muay Thai classes to get healthy. Joaquin.
Oh, I told you about that.
You told me about that. I'm proud of you, dog.
Thank you. There's a Muay Thai gym down the street and around the corner from me.
It's where our boy trains too, who's been a guest.
Really?
Yeah,
Xiaoyu?
Richard.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes, that's who that was. No, hear me out. I walk in there on my first day, and like he's like, "Hey man, it's good to see you." I'm like, "Good to see you." He gave me a very friendly energy. He's like, "Does he know me?"
You're so famous, you don't even know it, bro.
Sorry, Richard. I just thought he was just like happy to see a new person at the gym, like being supportive. Funny. I didn't know that he knew me. I feel so bad.
So what is the plan with unhealthy comedians?
All right, hold on. Let's talk about that in a bit because
I do want to talk.
I know I do, but like I actually was gonna mention
the new documentary is gonna be Prize Fighter Joaquin.
Because I forgot what show I was doing, and they asked me about unhealthy comedian. It's like, because I was talking about it with someone else. What is that? Is it a comedy special? No, it's a weight loss documentary. This person looked at me when I said that in my eyes, and then they looked at my gut, and then looked at me. Oh, cool, and then they walked away.
This is because they were spoiled.
Yeah,
this is a spoiler.
Yeah. Oh, I know the ending
alert.
of this shit. Yeah, you lost a toe. Did I tell you guys the last show I did like a few months ago? I know we're not gonna talk comedy, but this is not really comedy. I was doing like. I did my whatever fat guy jokes, and this lady came up to me. She said, "I love your comedy, but you need to be more empowering."
What is that supposed to mean?
I guess it was like
empowering for who?
For who? I was like, I feel empowered.
Yeah, I mean,
like I have the mic.
You're not like some comedians who talk about like
for the audience,
like I'm a fat shit or like fuck, you don't want to date a bald guy. Like I always hate that. Like if I'm on a show and then like fat dudes don't get no pussy, and they be like, right, Corday? I'm like, bitch, I'm out here fucking. What are you talking about? Or it just seems like they don't have like a lot of confidence in themselves. But then sometimes people just feel like, oh no, you're okay. You should, and then you should respond like, would you date me? Like kind of a something. But yeah,
bro,
comedy.
What, Marcos? No,
I have to show him first to see if I can say this.
That means no.
No. It's someone we just had on roasted me hard, and I need to figure out how.
What did they roast you hard on?
You're plotting on how to respond.
Yes.
All right, so right now Marcos is showing me some chats. You can go look at this on his Two Nuts One Sack.
It was
TikTok or Instagram?
TikTok or Instagram.
Okay.
But we made a bit called Roadhead Should Be Illegal, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you said in that video.
Yes.
Okay, so this person that we recently had on said that.
You just think that because you're not getting any.
You just think that because you're not getting any, and I want to know.
Was that
how
male
do I respond to
Was that a male or female?
Female.
That's a guest we had on the show.
Oh.
But that's a good point.
Right, because we have so many female guests, the audience aren't going to be able to narrow down who it could possibly be.
Well, we've had a few.
We've had a lot.
Yeah, we've had a lot. You wouldn't be able to, just by saying that, you wouldn't be able to.
We can't
unless you're disqualifying the ones that we tried to make guest hosts.
It was Leslie. No. Get the fuck out of here.
Let's talk about Leslie like that. My boo.
It was Miss Pickles. I don't know. But
well, but people could go look at it.
People can go look at it.
That's not bad. What do you think?
No. I just want a clever response.
If they were
clever response.
I just want a clever response.
Okay, here's the thing. When it's when someone,
because I also don't want to cross the line of like I want to be. I want to be joke.
Don't be a pervert.
No, I'm not. No.
I mean,
I was trying to be like mean.
Accusing you of not getting any.
Yeah.
That's sexual territory right there.
Well, I mean, the topic.
The topic
that is a thing with social media. It is different when you're responding on there.
Yeah.
Because that could get you in.
It can get you. That's how beef.
But that's
works.
not bad. That's not bad.
No. And I'm not offended by that at all, because Two Nuts One Sack is definitely about roast us.
Yeah.
Have fun with it.
Come back with a fun roast.
Right. And our response is we always want to roast you back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
she's a customer.
So
you're your response.
Right,
so he's looking for ammunition.
Yeah.
You're on your own, homie. Talk to your little angry Black Bill Burr homie to.
Black.
I mean, maybe you could
Ryan.
No, because he's always like the angry guy.
Maybe you could respond with something like, "When was the last time you gave any?"
Oh,
that's worse. That's worse. You're canceled, dude.
No, I think
canceled.
that's. Yeah, maybe.
Well,
Or maybe you should say something like, "It takes a lonely one to recognize a lonely one."
I could just be like,
Boom. Boom.
damn. Okay, I gotta ask you guys, since you're teachers, you ever been roasted by students? How was your reaction to that shit? Or did you ever because I know we have a fellow comic friend that we know that's been fired for that shit.
Yeah.
That's also the reason why we have to fucking sign disclaimers now on the show.
That
Also,
was
you're ruining this.
Okay, go ahead.
that was my year with 6th grade, and I said never again. That is like middle school's the one grade I refuse to work with.
They're mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're mean, they're vicious, they're at a very interesting place in life.
They're trying to figure everything out. You're going from like adolescence to becoming a teen and hitting puberty all
And they're like little
Monsters.
I will say this much. I think after some years of experience, I'd be ready to go back, because that was the first time I had a class of 30 versus me, right? And that's not the grade I recommend anyone starting with.
Same, dude. My first year teaching was 6th grade. Yeah, that's rough. Because because at that time you don't have like a lot of experience, so you come back at them like you would come back at a younger person, like talking back to you or talking down to you, whatever. So you try to come back in that standpoint instead of having the experience where you kind of just sit there, you take it in, and you're just like, so we're not going to be disruptive in our class. And then sometimes I could say something back in like a very way, like where
diffuse it,
and then also saying like, hey, we're not going to be embarrassing people. And then like they could be like, well, you're the only one embarrassed. And I'm like, well, like some of us are doing good in here versus others or something like that, where it's not you're necessarily directing it at them, but they will know who you're getting at. Or it's like some of us, instead of actually doing the work, we tend to like lash out. And then point at lash out at other students, at other teachers, stuff like that. Or you can like calm it down and be like,
you ever just call a kid fat?
No, dude. What?
No.
What the hell?
But teachers have done that in the past.
Fat.
You know, teachers. When I was in 7th grade, our teacher had he was gone for a week.
Yeah.
Because some kid said, "You're gay," like you're gay, and it's like that's not what your mom said last night. Yeah, and then he got in big trouble. He got suspended for a whole week. But the whole school was laughing.
Yeah, dude.
I got hit by it. My teacher hit me over the head with the 2x4.
What?
Yeah, when I was in
that explains
physical,
a lot. That explains a lot.
Conceptual physics. I was asleep, and he like took the 2x4 and he just went.
That's why he had the 2x4, because it's physics.
Yeah, it was physics. But
he was proving that.
I told my parents about that, and then they were like, "Well, why were you asleep?" And I was like, "Thanks."
Damn.
Old school. I like it.
Speaking of teachers abusing kids, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen Reservation Dogs.
Oh, that's what
it's not that specific, but it's because there's a disclaimer at the beginning of the episode. You said you watched it. Have you watched the new episodes?
I haven't watched the new episodes, but go ahead. I'm gonna watch it.
I like it because they're bringing a lot of native actors that haven't really been on shit for years onto this. Like, it's like comedy, drama, everything. It's like, for me, it's like you get the supernatural, like the legend shit. All that shit's in there, and with like the most recent, the newer season,
they're on their final season, right?
Yeah, it's their final season,
which is kind of sucks.
Yeah,
it was a good show.
It's like only like the 3rd season, or was the 4th season?
It's the 3rd season.
Yeah, I'm like, come on.
Bobby Lee was in it.
Right
I was on board when I saw Bobby Lee was in it.
Yeah.
And then I was on board when they got Academy Award winner. He's in Dances with Wolves. He's Geronimo. You know what I'm talking about?
I know I can't remember
Great
the name,
actor.
but I know who
Great
you're
actor.
talking about. Yeah.
And
fantastic.
And now they got the other guy from Dances with Wolves also on the new season. He's hella old.
Really?
Yeah, the guy that played the kicking bird in Dances with Wolves. Yeah. Well, anyways, this new episode, there's a disclaimer because it shows it takes place like back in the 1800s, where like kids were being stolen from their
And
tribes,
forced to go to boarding school?
and forced to go to the Catholic. It shows when the nuns were like, because they did it dope, bro. Like, I'm not giving away the storyline of
It was historically accurate, though?
It was historically accurate, where
Sounds like.
it's the natives speaking, the kids speaking in their language, and they're like, hey, don't speak in front of them, don't look at them in the eyes. And it's most likely English or Spanish that the nuns and the priests are speaking, because they come by and they see them like talking about their native shit. They get whipped with a ruler. like or they get beat. And the way they talk, like I said, it must be either English, but it sounds like they make it sound like gibberish, like a whole different language. Where you're in the as if you were native, as the perspective of a native.
Right.
It just sounds like gibberish, and they're like, whoosh, and you're like, whoa. And that was the first time I've ever seen that, where it's like the perspective of a native.
It's like wah 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 wah.
Yeah,
kind of,
like that, like, rah, 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 and then they just slaps them, and it's like, whoa! I've never seen that in a movie.
Yeah,
I've never seen that like that. That's like it takes a perspective of straight up a native.
I've only seen something like that once, and it wasn't in a film or a TV show. It was like a YouTube sketch.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't even think it was like meant to be funny. It was just sort of an exemplary, like, this is what German sounds like to a non-German speaker. This is what English sounds like to a non-English speaker. And boy, the English one was like, the rhythms were there, but the words made no sense. And I'm like, oh gosh, this is what we sound like?
Yeah.
Real quick, to the listeners, we apologize if you guys can hear the fan behind us.
You can turn it off.
I don't know if you can hear it, but it is like 120 degrees in here.
Yeah.
We are dying.
And Marcos, not Marcos, but like Joaquin has a jacket on.
But yeah, I don't know how you have a jacket on right
we
now.
may want to take. He just offered that we could record in his deck. We might want to take him up on that in our next month, because September.
I was gonna say because
way
it's
hotter.
hot.
Way hotter.
But I think we have shade though.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we're we're putting up a canopy with like lights inside, so we can kind of do that.
Nice.
You know what I mean,
As long as Phil thinks we can do it.
and we could put up the lights there too, and we can.
We can make it anything.
This is
happen.
a trip, because yesterday I was in San Francisco. It's cold as fuck with fog, and it was like a little bit of overcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
It's funny as hell, dude.
I love it though.
I saw that, and I'm like, it was hot as hell in Oakland.
Yeah.
It was like warm, and I'm like, damn, he out there, and I'm like, ugh. Oh no, I remember I was in Richmond. No, I was in Pinole, where it was super hot, and then went to Richmond, where it was overcast, and then you was in SF and looked even darker and colder in SF.
Cold.
You had a jacket on. Everybody had a jacket on. I was like, I was just like,
I was wearing a flannel and a jacket.
Yeah.
That's how cold it was.
Yeah.
There's people with shirtless, like, walking around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, going back to that, I don't know. You said you haven't seen Reservation Dogs. I'll go back to that. I'm obsessing over it.
I think I saw an episode with you.
Yeah, we did, because it's like
what is this on?
it's on Hulu and FX.
Okay.
It's the first, and when I saw an interview. This is why I like this era we're in. Back then, we used to just watch shit, and that was all we knew about it. I watched an interview with Harlan, the guy who wrote it, created it. He was basically writing sketches from Oklahoma, but he came to LA, and the reason he did this show is because there's nothing that shows natives being funny.
Yep.
Nothing like, we got Dances with Wolves, Geronimo, and it's all serious. Warrior. This is the first one that shows how they can be goofy and shit, and I like when you see like a different side to
right, something you're normally not used to seeing. Oh, absolutely.
Same with black movies.
How many times have African Americans before recent years been portrayed as like the villain, right? Like somebody
All the time.
Somebody had brought up the fact that if you went
Birth of a Nation,
all the way back to the beginning,
it's one of the first movies, right?
The first time
that reprised the Ku Klux Klan.
The first time that an actor of color, or a black actor was presented with three-dimensional layering in any film was in Casablanca. The guy that plays Sam.
Yeah.
And there's actually people who've written about that. I was like, oh man, Sam had his own opinions, and he wasn't like subservient to the main character at all. They were equal friends, It was such a rarity back in those days.
What was her name? Mammy from Gone with the Wind. She also had like a
Hattie Daniels, yeah.
Yeah, she was
The
like
mammy trope.
Yeah, well, no. She kind of was like the mother figure of the main actress.
Yeah, she had a little bit of three dimensions.
By the way, we mentioned this. Do you know what Birth of a Nation is? Have you ever heard of it? It's like one of the first movies ever. We just talked about William Friedkin, the director. He said it's a masterpiece, not because of the content, because of the first film to use that kind of But
there are so many techniques in that doggone film that are used in modern Hollywood today.
Yeah,
and you can't. It's one of those things where respect the technique, but you don't have to respect the artist. Is the way.
Basically, it's a movie that it's the heroes are Ku Klux Klan and the bad people are black folks. And it's
and the black people
30s
are
movie.
not even actually black. It's white folk in blackface because back then you couldn't. Black actors wasn't allowed to act, so it was just a bunch of white folks in blackface. And because of that movie, and that movie was shown at the White House too. Because of that movie,
President Woodrow Wilson played it.
Yeah, and because of that movie and how like traumatic it was for white people, the Ku Klux Klan was dying out, but that was the resurgence of the Ku Klux Klan because of that movie.
That's deep, and like the film history, like it's,
the power of art, people.
Yes.
The responsibility of art, one may argue.
Exactly, and then he made another movie. The same director made another movie explaining or trying to make up for how that movie was. It had a huge impact in all the negative ways to try to correct it, but of course that wasn't viewed as the same, or wasn't looked at the same, or wasn't shown as much, and things like that.
There's a documentary. I think I shared it with you. You know the channel? I think I've talked about this. Maybe I haven't, but it's called Real Black. You know what I'm talking about? They show the Dick Gregory interviews.
Oh yeah,
you ever seen it? Well, they show old movies there, and it talks about like, because I think, I'm not mistaken, that Birth of a Nation was like the production company created by Edison.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was made in like the East Coast, and all the Jewish filmmakers that were getting like flack from Edison, like copyright or whatever, like they were getting sued by him.
Right,
that's were the ones that came.
His technology.
Yeah, those are the ones that came to L.A. because it was.
They wanted to get away from him. They're like,
wanted to
you know what? I mean, Edison is such a prick anyway.
And that's how Hollywood started. That's how
I hate to say it. He's such a jerk.
Got a little carried away there.
Oh no, I'm listening. I'm just hot as fuck.
I know, yeah, it is.
I'm just like
that seems so typical of Edison, just throwing out all these lawsuits to these creatives. Like, this is the same dude that used to like electrify elephant babies to make a point.
Oh yeah.
He'd be like, our current is safer than Tesla's current. Look what happens when we run Tesla's current through a baby. Oh, it dies. Like, that's not going to happen when we run your current through it, you dick.
Speaking of current and all that shit, we just watched Oppenheimer.
Yes.
It's my new favorite filter on CapCut.
Christopher Nolan.
That's what I use now for Two Nuts on Stack.
No wrong.
That movie was okay.
It was crazy.
You haven't seen it yet?
No.
Okay. Are you gonna see it?
Maybe we'll go ahead.
Okay.
It's been a month.
My favorite part in that fucking movie is when they're deciding where to drop the nuclear bomb in Japan. And the dude's like, Kyoto's not. He's like, I go visit there with my wife, so maybe let's stop.
Even deeper than that, he was like, we had our honeymoon there. Let's not.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
He opened up with, that is a very important cultural space to the Japanese.
It used to be the capital.
It used to be the capital. We shouldn't. And besides, my wife and I had our honeymoon there. We sometimes go back. Let's not do that.
Bro, that's a
funny.
fucked up like concept, but like that's crazy that's how they. Because a lot of this
the
is
dude in
pulled,
charge has been there before.
a lot of this is pulled from actual like historical
Probably
shit.
stories and stuff.
And that does sound like a thing people would say.
Somebody might say,
yeah, about a fucking where to.
Well, because you think about like. When the movie like shows like you think about these kind of situations, they're people too, and they think about like selfishly. You're in so much power, but you're selfishly thinking of certain things like. I mean, they were talking
it's
about...
It's a human-as moment.
It's a human moment, yeah. You're like...
It's also a semi-callous one in the sense that, like, well, you're...
Like, I'm still going to go back to Japan and vacation there after I bomb.
Japanese Coachella.
After I had...
kill a whole bunch of like...
200,000.
200,000, yeah.
Each city.
They didn't know how many they were going to kill, though. This is an important...
No, yeah.
They could estimate, but they weren't sure, right? They were thinking, it's not really a spoiler because this is history, but one of the concerns was that this bomb could create a chain reaction that could destroy the entire planet.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like,
Well, this is another thing that I noticed watching that movie is Marvel movies have fucked me up because you know the end credit scenes, like, oh, this was coming
you were
next.
thinking.
Well, no.
Oh yeah. We were talking about that.
We were talking about the scene where the
Like maybe
the trial.
the last scene they'll be testing the H bomb.
No. The last scene in the trial when Robert Downey Jr.'s character's like, who voted no? Like the other guy that voted no.
And it was John F.
And
Kennedy.
then it was like, oh, some new guy.
From Massachusetts?
His name is Kennedy. Like,
And we all
then
went,
next movie is a Kennedy movie. Like,
yeah, that's
I just
what I
thought,
thought
like,
too. That's exactly what I thought too.
Oh, that would have been so. that would have been so dope for them to just kind
fucking
of like,
end credit scene.
it's like John F. Kennedy in his office, but the reason why that's not done is because Marvel Studios has a plan for all of this going forward. Christopher Nolan just wanted to make a movie about.
No, I know, but that's how I'm seeing it, because it's Robert Downey Jr. too.
Yeah.
And it took me a minute to realize that was Robert Downey Jr. That was a good makeup.
Well, you actually noticed it pretty quick.
I did, but
I
it
was sitting next to you.
did take me a minute. Like I was like,
I
Like legit,
I even
like,
said
it took him like a minute. The second he walked
he
in,
looks like an old white dude from the 50s.
yeah,
or
like it
40s.
was really
I
well
knew
done.
from the
I've
trailer.
seen the trailers. I've seen the trailers.
So you saw Robert Downey?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in it because
I didn't even
yeah.
see the trailers.
I've been out of the loop with movies so much that I don't know like what's coming up. We didn't see trailers. We got there late.
yeah.
Damn.
But it made me realize how much I like going to the movies, bro. That was like,
Oh, yeah, that
my
was
favorite
fun.
fucking
Love the movies.
pastime, man. Like, I remember the first movie I ever saw was Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh shit, good.
That was the first one I ever saw. in
When you're a
theaters.
kid, that's a great movie to be your first.
No, sorry,
'cause
it
you're-
was Titanic. Never mind.
Oh.
Titanic.
That was
Oh, wow.
long as hell and boring.
You didn't like Titanic?
No, dude.
The ending was tragic, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it
Yeah,
was.
she didn't share the board with him.
Have you guys ever heard that joke that the Raiders are like the Titanic?
That's,
Hey,
No, I was
anybody-
just wondering.
Oh, because they always sink.
Because like you know
my
what
little-
the ending is. Oh, is that you?
That's my-
Oh, is it really?
So Marcos,
that
this
is-
is why I don't want you hanging out with me. Are you just gonna start saying all my jokes to people?
No.
A few years,
old
I didn't know that was your joke. I forgot.
a few years back, I heard this story
Thank you for that.
that like
See, I'm a fan of it.
someone uncovered, like it was like a suit or an old instrument, and the suit, whatever it was that they found from the Titanic wreck, was like rented to one of the people who would, like one of the band members that died, and so the company then billed their family because they never turned the rental back in. I was like, you asshole.
Wow.
Hey.
Like damn near 100 years later, like, he got descendants. All right, send him that bill. I'm
Wait,
like,
100 years later?
like,
Yeah.
or however long it's been.
How
since
much did
the
that cost?
Titanic
Inflation.
sank.
Did you
Like,
hear? Did you hear? about
Lord,
the guy that
I don't remember
survived?
the exact number, but
Can you even do that?
they
No.
tried.
He tried. Did you hear about one guy that survived the Titanic? What, like, he's in the movie in the Titanic. His story, they wrote him in. Remember when they were like hanging at the? Did you watch it all? You remember it?
Did I watch it? Yeah, of course I watched the Titanic.
because you
dude.
said it's
See
too
it in
long.
Theaters? Or did
Yeah,
you
I
see it
saw it in
at-
theaters. I saw it in
okay.
theaters. I've seen it again since, but I've seen
So
it in
remember,
theaters.
there's
So.
a scene when they're like climbing in the back of the ship as it's going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's them two, and then there's another
The guy
guy.
next
He's
to
got
him?
a flask.
Yeah.
That's based on a real character. Is the one guy that like. There was only a few people that they pulled out of the water. Like, you know, I think it was only 4 people that
Yeah.
they pulled out of the water. And he was one of them. He got shit-faced drunk before.
And so that's why he was able to survive. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense.
And they
yeah.
wrote him into that where he's like drinking his flask and he had like the mustache. He's
Yep.
like looking at them like
Yeah.
he's one of the only ones that survived. Like,
That's smart though. Yeah, that's smart. Though.
I didn't. Yeah, no,
Now,
that's
my mom always talks about that. Well, it's not a good thing, but sometimes like when a drunk driver hits somebody,
Yeah.
they're able to survive because their body is
It's
so
loose and shit.
so loose, stuff like that.
or
that
when you're sleeping too.
yeah,
yeah.
So that that because their body is also numb from the alcohol and stuff like that, they don't feel the immediate pain that would kill them
Or
because
afraid.
their body is numb. So if they hit something, it's like their body's already, it doesn't go to a shock or stuff like that.
Right.
It's already like sedated. It's like numb.
That's
So-
also what when you
loose.
when you
Loose,
see an accident about to happen, it fucks with your body most because you get like tense up, and when you're tense and you get moved or whatever,
That's what
it
kills you.
damages your nerves.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
So you heard
So
it in the
get-
post,
so-
y'all.
Just
Get
loose up when you see
drunk before
action.
you.
Get fucked up before you drive. That's
No,
the
not
moral
before
of
you
the story.
drive. Not before you drive, but before you be a passenger. Just
That's
get super
terrible
drunk.
advice, Joaquin.
As a passenger.
as a passenger,
Get drunk as a passenger.
You're a teacher too.
Call Uber.
Gosh.
I said as a passenger, not driving. And don't drive and don't drink illegally.
There you go.
21 and up.
Yes.
He's like 18 and up. Drink it legally.
No, because teachers, we know, like, especially kids trying to show up, because you work with high school kids showing up, like, drinking at, like, prom and shit like that. And, like, yo, you were not even 21 yet. You're not even 18. Like, stop drinking. Like, this ain't.
You ever, like, confiscate the booze and then, like,
How old were you
drink
when
it?
you first drank booze that you stole as a teenager?
Stole?
Or bought illegally?
16.
16?
Yeah.
You?
I was pretty late to the game.
Because we all drank when we were under 18.
Yeah.
I drunk
At a family
senior
party or something?
No, I was not allowed. No, it was at
Square? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was. Because those my cousins did shit, and I always saw them like.
Yeah.
That's why it's good to have cousins. You know how they say smart people, you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, like people learn from mistake of others, but smart people. Well, you learn from your own mistakes, but smart people learn the mistakes of others.
Yeah.
A bunch of my family got drunk and shit like that. I was like, oh, I will now do this.
Yeah.
So first time I drank, it was like graduation. It was grad night. Like somebody had like some alcohol. I poured it into my Monster. Just like when Monsters was hella big.
Yeah.
And I was complaining the whole time. I was
Especially
like,
at all the amusement parks too.
yeah, I was like, yo, this shit is gross. This shit is gross. It was like E&J. I was like, this is nasty. I was like,
Oh, that's what you requested a shot on my birthday. It was E&J.
E&J.
You're the only one that wanted
Yeah.
E&J. That's my dad's drink too.
Really?
That's like, I think that's an old school.
That's
When's your birthday?
That's an old school.
It was in May. You were in my house.
Oh, at your house?
Yeah.
Oh, because it took me back. Yeah.
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 E&J is rough, man.
Yeah.
You know, like,
It's cheap though.
I mean, I know you don't like drink
big ass
but
bottle for $15.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like with 15.
There's certain liquors I can't have no more because I had the worst hangover with.
Yeah. Tequila for me mostly.
Hennessy, my Hennessy hangover.
Hennessy was
I had the
never
shakes.
good to me.
I had the shakes
You
hella
ain't drinking the
bad.
good shit, that's why. You ain't drinking the good shit, that's why.
I ain't drinking the good shit. No, Hennessy was just trash.
Hennessy's not trash.
It is.
It's good.
No, it's not.
But
It
it
is.
gave me the worst hangover where I was shaking the next day.
No,
Like,
there was
straight.
good whiskeys out there.
And I got in a fight.
There was great.
That was bad.
That's what Hennessy does. See, that's what Hennessy like.
Yeah. You drink
I-
good. You can have a good Glenlivet, and it would be better than Hennessy.
I mean, what the fuck is that?
That's my point. That's my point.
You're my fucking point, white man. You fucking point at me and shit like Hennessy's never been
tell me
good.
that I haven't had good. That you haven't had.
Just
the good
because I
stuff.
don't know how to pronounce it doesn't mean it's good.
Glenlivet was good.
How do I know? Anybody else had Glenlivet?
Okay. What?
I have never had Glenlivet, but what is it, a whiskey?
Yeah,
That's whiskey though. This is cognac.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like
I like whiskey too, so.
I like
Cognac
whiskey
is just-
too. And I'll be honest,
you could
I
have
still
it.
like Jack. Like I'll drink Jack.
Jack
all
was
day.
Jack and honey is amazing.
It was, dude. I'm sure
You
that
miss-
I'm
you-
sure that I would still love it.
Which one do you miss? Like
Cocaine.
Okay, wait. That's true.
He was honest.
That's true.
No, if I'm honest, I miss whiskey, wine. You know what I miss? You know what I miss the most though? Like, oh, sorry, what I missed the most recently?
Yes.
Especially now that it's hot, when I see people like having a beer,
Old beer.
a cold beer, I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that's
That's funny because people always love like a cold beer. Like whenever it gets hot, I never think of having a cold beer. I always think of like
I don't miss,
Soda.
I don't think champagne.
I almost had a different soda, but I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be.
I used to always switch champagne out for beer if there was champagne brought out, but now like I'm recently seeing people drink beer and I'm like,
I don't like champagne.
Are you
that Sierra
able-
Nevada Brute beer? That's like champagne. It's like my favorite shit, dude. You ever had that? I'm sorry.
no, but what?
Would it affect your
Psyche.
psyche if you were to try one of those non-alcoholic beers? Could you drink
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I for a long time tried that on my own.
Yeah,
Then
we
I
were
start-
doing that for a while.
Yeah, and then I started cracking them during AA meetings, and then I eventually started cracking real beers during AA meetings.
Oh.
And this was before I went to rehab and stuff, and I had even asked my counselor there, and I was like, yo, what about non-alcoholic beer? It's like, some people do it. It's a real fire way to, relapse again, because
Yeah.
non-alcoholic beer, if you get good ones, like I was able to find some good ones. It tastes.
Heineken was good.
Yeah, Heineken, I love those.
Yeah.
Love those. It tasted
Like the real
like
thing.
the real thing, and like the whiskeys were terrible. Those just tasted like syrup.
Tequila too. The tequila. Have you had that one?
I never because they all tasted
They
like
make
syrup.
non-alcoholic tequila?
Yeah, non-alcoholic whiskey.
It actually kind of tastes not bad if it's mixed with.
If it mix, yeah, you can
Like
do it
if
with
you put 'em in a
mocktails.
daiquiri?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they're made for. You're not really supposed to drink them straight, but
Love a good daiquiri.
They're so expensive. They cost just as much as beer.
Yeah,
You know?
$1 less.
Maybe, yeah.
Yesterday they were $10 for a bottle of
The six pack or something.
fucking-
0.0.
No, for one can.
Oh.
at the fucking.
Oh,
festival.
yeah.
$10.
And it's kind of just rough, you know. Non-alcoholic champagne tastes so much like champagne. So I tried that when I got out of rehab once, and I had to dump the bottle out because it took me back. I was like, I really want champagne now.
I thought of you.
Thank you.
Outside Lands.
They have a sober tent.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Oh.
friend, my old buddy from.
You know about it.
Yeah.
It's like whenever you're feeling like it's too everything.
Yeah, they have meetings there, hour on the hour.
Oh, that's so dope.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
level of
bro,
support.
it's
And
like
then- and then they have,
drugs
like-
and alcohol everywhere.
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah.
That's
Sober
what.
lands.
Like damn, I was gonna mention
No, you can.
something that that you're gonna give me shit for. Henry Hill from Goodfellas. He had like a cooking. He was cooking on some
In
video.
print, yeah.
Did you see that when I sent it? The food looked great.
Yeah, the food looked
He's
amazing.
like a reformed mobster,
Yeah.
but he's also has an alcohol problem. Like
Yeah.
obviously that was like his problem.
Yeah.
And he's making pasta. He buys a bottle of wine, and his son's like, "Dad, you can't be drinking." He's like, no. He was like, "I'm gonna only pour a cup and pour out the rest." But he poured another jug and then hid it in one of the cabinets. And in the video, they're filming him, and he's like, "It's only a cup. It's only for this pasta. Like, you know, I'm cooking." And then he's
Is he like a former? He's recovering.
he was like drinking,
right?
and he's hiding it. And then all of a sudden, his wife's like, "You're drunk. You're sleeping outside, but the pasta's hella good."
Yeah. No.
Have you ever ate like pasta infused with?
Yeah, I had that maybe 6 months ago or so. I instantly tasted the wine in there, and
you were like, no.
it kind of triggered me a little bit. Something I'm trying to get better at it. Something that's really been hard for me is going to like fancy restaurants.
Yeah.
We went to this like Frenchish restaurant in Berkeley, and the table
On Martin Luther King? No, sorry.
Telegraph,
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
But like way down a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit. And the table was cut this table in half, and there was 5 of us, and plates are all right next to each other. You're stacked on each other.
Snail bar?
Huh?
Snail bar.
I don't
think
remember
you're
to be. I don't know to be honest. But wine glasses, you know,
Yeah.
smell the wine right in front of me. If I was like at a steakhouse where the tables are kind of like this big, and I'm a little more
You close
separated,
them, yeah.
I'm cool. But when it's this close, 5 people to this table, I can smell your whiskey. I can smell your wine. The wine bottle's right in front of me. It's like the instant, like, I freaked out and went to the bathroom and, like, talked to myself. And I was like, you're fine, you're fine. No, but, like, I'm, like, talking to myself in the mirror, like, you're fine. Stop freaking out. And I'm like, you're already a year sober. Why are you freaking out? And I was just freaking out. Couldn't do it. And I remember, like, having to leave the restaurant for, like, 20 minutes, just go hit my vape, and I was like, I was just tripping. But like, I do get those things where like if someone leaves a bottle uncapped, that's a big one for me. If I'm alone and you leave a bottle uncapped and I smell it, I'm like, I instantly have to cap it and put it away, because the smell, like having it that potent
Super strong
in my face is like I can taste it.
It's tempting.
Yeah. There's times like if I'm opening a bottle of wine or something for like my aunt or something at a party, or I help pour it, whatever. There is that instant thought of like, I could just chug this right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I could just do it, and like it's not illegal.
God damn.
Like,
You go to jail
Like,
for-
everyone would
you
get
go-
so mad at me.
You go to
but-
jail for breaking your sobriety.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
no. Like you're just gonna see a bunch of ants be like, no, just like sloppy.
I got a question about. Well, first, before I ask you the question, we stopped buying soda in our house. We don't buy soda no more. We're trying to like drink less soda and shit.
Yeah.
It's good.
And I mean, it's not the same thing, but like now that I'm not buying, we don't have soda at home. Like I like find myself. That's what did I ask you to bring me this morning when you were like, I'm going 7-Eleven. What do you want?
A soda.
Oh no, Coke Zero.
Coke Zero, but still like I'm like
Yeah.
fucking.
You're negotiating.
I'm
Like it's got 0 sugar in it. I'll be fine.
But I still drink the regular ones too. But I'm
Yeah.
trying to like, and I'm like, I feel like now that it's not like around me at home, everywhere I'm out, I'm fucking.
I want a soda.
Coke.
You want a soda?
That's the problem with
Yeah.
with. It's not the same thing, obviously.
No,
but
no,
it is-
I get
it's
it,
like,
though.
It's like,
No, but sugar is an addiction.
Yeah.
And it is a deadly one because the diabetes will agree with me.
Yeah.
As you
Yeah.
lose your fingers and toes.
Because I have a similar thing, Jadles. I gave up soda. I haven't had soda in like 4 or 5 months. Right? Like
Good job.
not even like Coke Zero, just like a lot of lemonades.
Yeah.
A lot of lemonades when
That's
I go
a
out.
lot
See,
of
but
sugar.
you're,
That's
you're
almost
still,
the same
you're
thing,
still
though.
taking sugar. Yeah.
That's
but
almost
it's-
the
but
same
it's
thing,
not-
though. You should
But
think
you're
about
going
that.
hard on it too. Like when that month that I was not drinking at all with him, huh?
No.
That month that I didn't drink for a whole month, I ate hella sweets.
Well, what I was
Well,
what I
your
was
sweet
gonna-
tooth comes back.
Well, what I
when
was
you
gonna
get
say
sober.
is like not having soda that long like reset my taste buds.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was out to dinner with my wife and like I had a raspberry iced tea. She got a Coke and they gave us the wrong drink and they're the same color so we didn't notice. And like I took a sip of her Coke and it like hit me hella hard because I wasn't used to it.
Right.
Yeah, it's intense, especially when you haven't had any fizz.
Yeah.
It fucks with you.
That feels like
Yeah,
Yeah, if you feel
I'm really
it's
big on
like-
sparkling water.
I was just gonna say I drink the flavored sparkling waters like
That's
the
good.
bubbly.
I love those too.
Like the what?
I'm a big
Bubbly.
liquid death guy.
You don't like those?
Nah, I'm shit's trash as fuck. I would just have a soda.
Yeah.
Or just give me some like that's a problem too. But people like we stopped drinking soda, but then we drink like juice,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Well, juice is just as bad." It was like, "Well, can I have something?" You know, like I remember my mom. She was like,
Well,
"I've been."
no, the problem is you're abusing the sugary drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not that juice is bad. It's that you're gonna drink just as much juice. So like you're gonna have 6 cups of apple juice when you should have 1
That's true.
a day.
Yeah.
Just 2.
Because
Six
okay,
Like
cups of
one can
water.
of soda every week is not bad.
not
Right.
yeah, you'll be fine. Your taste buds won't be crazy bad.
It's not one can of soda. Yeah.
Like
It's like 2 liters. and shit.
Two-
No,
Yeah.
I know, but that's
I could drink a whole 2 liter. Like if you put a 2 liter in me,
Yeah, same.
I would like
same.
you said about the alcohol. Like I would, like fucking Buddy the Elf and the Elf. Like I saw that. Like I could do that shit.
I
My,
can't
my
do that.
pops
It's too much sugar.
Did you hear that?
my pops at once said, you know, we made this observation. You know, at some point, people forgot that like a Coke, like a soda, or like a trip to McDonald's is supposed to be like a treat. You know,
Yep.
it's not supposed to
Yep.
be an everyday thing. But so many of us across the United States, really, we're like the fattest nation. I think it's like Wendy's is every day, McDonald's is every day, Coke is every day. It's not
I could
supposed
go
to
for
be
some
every day.
Wendy's right now. Actually.
You know,
I could go for McDonald's. Like almost.
Or Carl's Jr.
Yeah, that I introduced him to Carl's Jr. I never had Carl's
I
Jr.
haven't had Carl's Jr. in a while.
I just like that bacon Western burger.
it is.
Okay.
McDonald's is like if so. I live right by a 24-hour McDonald's now. Or no, so 12. They close at 12. That's what I meant.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
The drive-through.
they
is
close
it-
at 12.
No, you
Okay.
don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
I just went there the other day at 11:30.
They might have closed at that time, but they normally don't.
What do you mean?
I've gone here like 2, 3 in the morning. They
Oh,
open.
to for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
I thought they closed at
drive-thrus-
12.
I think like on the weekends they're open late.
Oh, the weekends, yeah. But like this is like I'm done with Copper Spoon.
Yeah.
And I'm like I'm gonna keep it cool. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be, and then I end up going to that McDonald's and
Yeah.
let me get some chicken nuggets and some fucking
Yeah, like-
McDouble. And I did a joke about it because these motherfuckers got these big ass screens now.
Yep.
And it shows your meal to the last person. Nah, like I'll just have that one McChicken.
Like the lobby closes at like a certain hour,
It's like 7:38. It closed hella early.
but the drive-through is eternal.
Yeah. The McDonald's on San Pablo and like Richmond / El Cerrito is back to being 24 hours now too. Because I remember I heard before and I was like,
Oh, that one by the Honda
Home Depot.
dealership.
Yeah, the Home Depot, yeah. So yeah, well, I was saying earlier about the sodas and like going to juice and stuff like that. Like I remember my mom started sending me drinking. Like she makes wine. I forget what it's called, but it's like wine, but then she adds something to it.
Oh, like a wine with sparkling water.
Nah, it's something else. It's I forget the name of it, but she's like, hey, sangria. She makes sangria. She's like, hey, I've been seeing you dipping into the sangria. You like? I was like, we just added juice. I needed something sweet, but I was like, I didn't know how hard this shit was. I was like, I didn't want to drink this stuff. I was like, I just want some juice.
Yeah,
because you try to drink water with it and stuff, and sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's not. But it's like, you know, But yeah, like I notice a lot of times when I'm driving or in the morning, I want like coffee, but then also want like have some water with me at all times because like it's just like better. But then my favorite thing to have in the morning is orange juice.
This is great. Like having a bottle where
like I always want orange juice in the morning because like it's like the vitamin C of it is like super good and stuff.
It's hella sugar.
Huh?
It's hella sugar.
I mean, that's the thing in the morning help me up though. Like I mean, you know, that's what I hear. But I'm like,
I get that. Like we started buying like flavored water because you get sick of just regular water around the house all day.
Sure.
And like my daughter drank one once and she was like, "This is disgusting." And I'm like, "Of course it is. You don't drink it because you like it. You drink it because you hate yourself."
Yeah.
What?
Just like Pop-Tarts in the morning. I used to eat Pop-Tarts in the morning all the time.
Pop-Tarts.
Hella sugar, bro. Like it's you know.
Have you ever? I feel like we're an old war veteran swapping stories.
Yep.
Have you ever done that fat guy thing where you make an ice cream sandwich out of two Pop-Tarts? Like you toast two Pop-Tarts,
some weird shit.
vanilla ice cream, make an ice cream sandwich out of two
I think that's your
Pop-Tarts.
fat guy white thing. I think your fat guy
That's
thing.
some real fat guy shit.
That's your Vietnam, bro.
Yeah, dude. That's
I think that's like a
wild.
whole plateau of fat guy we haven't reached yet.
Okay, what's your you just mentioned yours. What's your fat guy thing that you do, like his version of that? We'll start with Marco's because I want to hear that shit.
I'm working on
just finishing a meal.
staling up a bag of hot Cheetos and gonna eat them tonight in my bed.
You like stealing them?
Yeah.
They taste hella good stale.
So good stale.
No, the
That's
fuck
weird.
They
Yes,
don't.
they do.
And I just had something
No,
yesterday.
they don't.
No, they taste.
They taste weird. They taste weird, but
You
it,
don't
it's
like
kinda
it.
good.
It's a
You just
good.
refuse to believe he likes it.
It's a good weird.
You know,
I love it.
You know what I had for the first time yesterday that I never knew you could do? Double fried fries at In-N-Out.
Oh, I don't go to In-N-Out, so I don't care.
Have you ever had that?
I didn't know.
They fry them twice.
I'm gonna have to try that.
I had
next time
that.
I go.
Brian Hicks, shout out to Brian Hicks. He introduced me to that. It's a game changer.
You know what pisses
Yeah, I was
me
gonna
off?
say, I don't
though?
know if Corday's reaction to your stale hot Cheetos is the same reaction I had when my brother told me he likes soggy cereal.
That's disgusting.
Like he'll pour a bowl of cereal and then walk away for 20 minutes.
Oh, no, that's
gross.
weird.
That's gross.
If, I say if it's like a little soggy but then crunchy at the same time, that's like the best of both worlds. 'Cause it's like a crunch. It's like that kind of a thing, but just soggy at no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what's yours
I'll
then?
get-
Or you?
Fattest thing I ever did
I think we've done it together.
was wait, what did we
Fat
do
guy
together?
sex.
Oh, go ahead.
Fattest thing
Wow.
I've ever done by myself,
Marcos.
anyway, has to have been one morning when I was in college. I ate Tostitos pizza rolls, but I dipped them in sour cream as I ate them.
Oh, that's fat guy stuff.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
bro.
Wait, sour cream, not ranch?
That's both.
I
it's
love
both
sour
fat.
cream, man. What can I say?
Putting ranch.
I'll dip chips in sour cream. Like I mean, it's not too far away from putting sour cream on a baked potato if you think about it.
You remember when we were younger, we'd go to like Red
Did you ever
Onion?
put sour cream on a baked potato?
I don't like sour cream.
Yeah, he doesn't like
yeah.
cream.
That's right. You
Cheese
you
either.
hate dairy. That's right.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, Mark, you remember when we were younger, we used to go to Red Onion and we used to just get like ridiculous foods. Like we'd get a burger and
Oh,
swap
yeah.
the mayo for sour cream,
Yes.
add
Oh, that's
guacamole and bacon.
Right. Or I put mushrooms and sour cream on a burger.
What's wrong with this guy?
Have you ever
that
had
was
beef
disgusting.
stroganoff? It's the same
I
concept.
love beef stroganoff. Yeah, that's what I just thought of right now. Yeah,
No, that's.
but stroganoff's got a little bit more flavor to it though.
That's
than-
true.
You know what's fucked up about the stale hot Cheeto thing though? If you do that during
gross?
the if you do it during the winter, they don't get stale because it's so cold in my house that they just
Oh really?
they just stay regular.
Yeah, but still,
That's good to know.
It's, when it's hot, like today, I'd like to get 3 or 4 bags of hot Cheetos and just open them up and leave them there for.
Oh, that's weird though. That's if they get stale. Like if you're doing it on purpose, it's weird.
No, I do it on purpose.
It's like you find out this like some chick ate your hair. You know, like that's what.
what, dude?
Yeah,
No,
dude,
no,
yeah,
we're not
stale
walking
chips
past
is
that.
weird.
No.
Stale chips
Stale
is
chips
weird.
weird,
That's weird.
yeah. Now you agree with me, JD. You was just agreeing with him a second ago. No, I get that. They're hella good.
No. They're good if you don't do it on purpose. Like if you just I've shared
No.
with you guys the Mac
No.
meter. The Mac meter. You guys have had the Mac meter.
Oh
right?
yeah.
The what?
The Mac meter. That's,
Nope.
that's the thing we used to call. You get a Mac chicken and a double McDouble,
Oh, yeah,
and you
yeah.
put them together.
Together, yeah.
That's a.
I've never eaten
I've never
one,
heard
but
it
I've
called
heard
that.
of it.
I've always heard that referred to as the McGangbang.
There's different names for
Yeah.
it depending on what hood you're from.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
The
What about you,
lower
Corday?
stretcheth.
What's the fattest thing you do?
I don't think I have one. Like honestly, like a real like fat thing that I do. It's kind of a.
Like eat a whole whatever. Okay, why you think of it?
Like, do you like rest food on your stomach while you're eating? Like,
I've done that.
No, dude, no.
like that's a fat thing.
No.
And then add ranch to anything. That's pretty bad.
Remember that pizza place I used to buy when we recorded at my place? That big ass slices, New York
You
style.
made a whole pie by yourself.
I had a whole pie of that, and it's fucking huge, dog. Like kind of like the slices we got after Oppenheimer.
After Oppenheimer, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We should go back to that place.
We should.
Have you ever been there?
Place is so
Rotten
good.
City
What time
Pizza?
do they close?
I don't know. I'm down to go.
good.
Yo, okay. Kind of the same ballpark question, but different topic.
But JD didn't say his.
That's what
Yeah,
you
he
said.
did.
A big ass pizza this
okay,
size all by
okay.
myself.
All right.
What is like a reoccurring intrusive thought that you always have? Like, you ever just see an old man walking down the street and you're like, I could totally just kick him, and then like get out of and get away with it.
Wow. And that's
Like,
the thing
you ever
that
just
Goddamn,
that
Marcos.
just pops in your head, Marco?
like sometimes like
That's the clip.
That's the clip. Right?
that's the clip.
Oh shit! This guy's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
No, you've never thought about that.
Grogu with the.
You've you've never had an intrusive thought like that.
I'll say the Bill Burr joke where he was like, I'm driving like right here, and then he's like, if I just go a little left, all of a sudden I'm on the news. Like I always think that. Like I always think like if like right here I could just crash my car into this rude person. Like I was like, wait, then I'm like, then I'll be out of a car, and then what the fuck? How do I get like to work? Like I always think
Or
that
you might
like
be dead.
Yeah, that too. Like I always think that like when somebody cuts me over, someone is like a bad driver. I was like, I fucking want to hit them with my car. Then I was like, no, I have a nice car. That always pops in my head. So yeah. This one, it's like I wish because I hate traffic. I was like, wonder what would happen if I just fucking just like floored it, like just like kind of goes in the middle, just like. It was the Jason Bourne moment when he had like that big truck and he was on Vegas and he was just like mowing through cars. Vegas. It was the last one.
Oh,
it was the last one, and it was like just. I always think that because I just hate traffic. I just want to get home, just pop like that. Or if I had powers, just lift everybody up. Or
Magneto.
Bruce Almighty, when he just like vroom, and he just like drive like that and just like close behind me. That always happens.
But like
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre came up with a concept over an intrusive thought where he was in line at a mall back when malls were cracking, and he was stuck, like he couldn't move. The director. And he saw a chainsaw on display. He's like, "What if I just?" And that's how he came up with the concept.
no,
for
okay,
the
but
Texas
it's like
Wow.
yeah.
fuck, I don't want to get canceled for this, but like we've all seen this where like if
This part out.
if you are driving and you see somebody and you're like, if I hit them right now, it's 10 points.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Like Grand
Like-
Theft Auto.
Yeah.
I think that's
Kinda.
what Grand Theft Auto started. Like you could,
So much freedom.
Like if you see, and like depending on who it is, you add more points to it, right? You know exactly what I'm talking about because we all
it's
do
a
this.
jogger, and they're like,
a jogger. Yeah,
Like,
they're
you
like,
get more points.
Nope,
if
not
you
that.
run a little
like if
bit.
it's an older lady.
Somebody wearing a certain hat. Yep.
Yep. A wheelchair. It's more points.
Whoa, dude, no.
Oh,
no.
you're thinking about it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A wheelchair is like half a point.
No, it's more
dude.
points.
Oh, more.
Yeah, it's more points.
What?
Or is it less
Christ.
points because it's easier? I don't know.
This ever happen to y'all? You ever be like crossing the street and seem like somebody's like speeding up to almost hit you? It seemed like you ever.
I've had that.
I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck? Like you get close, like you doing this on purpose?
That actually
Yes.
happened to me.
Yeah.
Like
You got hit.
Was it planned?
Oh shit.
in my leg, they just wham.
Was it planned or was
My
it like?
light was green.
Oh.
Their light was red, and like as I'm walking across the street, this car, from what I remember, like I was talking to like one of my coworkers who actually saw what happened. According to him, because he was driving and he didn't see any other cars on the street, but I remember seeing a car that like stopped, like maybe a few feet away from like the light, right?
Yeah.
And
Like, already out.
like really far away from the crosswalk. Though I was like, this is odd, but all right. And then the moment my foot went out here, it's like then they put the pedal to the metal and then smack.
Damn.
I spun around and my next thought was like, oh, I have to get across the street before I get run over. And then my second thought was, oh, good, no, the kids are going to be so disappointed. I promised them Valentine's Day party.
That's what you thought. Damn.
Yeah, you checked out, right?
Huh?
Did they checked out, right?
What, the leg?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was laid up in the hospital.
Did they
For like
catch the
60
guy?
No.
Of course not, motherfucker.
You know,
You know-
yes,
Well, how would they?
there was no camera, I don't think, at the time.
Speaking of that shit, the fucking improv after the show's over that street is a fucking
terrible
nightmare.
Yeah.
There was a guy pulling out of the garage and another guy tried to go around him and it they ended up like this, and then the guy opened the window. You fucking read.
Yeah.
And I saw people crossing almost get hit like 4 times.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's a mess there. Those streets like that scare me, and they make me think.
And it's such a nice road outside of the San Jose Improv.
Yeah, but like streets like that where it's
They drive crazy on that road.
crazy.
Yeah.
It always makes me nervous walking or even driving.
And it's so crazy because it's like right in front of the high school where I work. So you would think they got signs telling people to slow down. It's the school zone. What are you doing?
Here's an intrusive.
It's like 6 o'clock in the evening, but
Here's an intrusive thought I get sometimes at work when like a customer is in. I deserve this because blah blah blah, and sometimes I do feel like I could just punch this motherfucker.
Yeah.
No one's in the
Get
house.
intrusive thoughts.
No one's in the
JD
house.
just looks
Left, looks right.
now
As y'all know, I don't have a filter. And
Yeah,
I
we
don't-
know.
I don't like
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
fake. I've
I'm
never
trying to
been
work
good
on
at
that.
customer
Yeah.
service because I can't just put on a fake smile
Yeah,
while
yeah.
you're hella rude to me. So, like, I've told you stories. You've probably witnessed me being rude to some customers from time to time.
Yep.
It's called not having manners, Phil.
Well, I remember I was at, I used to work at Hertz Rent-A-Car, and we were like the only Hertz open on the weekends that wasn't the airport. We had a line out the door, and this fucking Karen came up to the counter, the old white lady, mad as hell, and she wanted me to give her a discount on her rental. She was like, I've been waiting in line for 45 minutes, and I have no filter. So I was just like, ma'am, I've been here just as long. It's not any funner on my side of the counter.
That's a good
at least you're
response.
funny with it, you know.
That's
yeah,
a
you
good
know
response.
that I've only
But you laugh at
erupted
that.
like once or twice on a customer, luckily. But like, yeah, one time this guy, he was like, I'm in line for, like, it was the same thing, and he's like, the other O'Reilly's in San Pablo never has a line. I was like, well, we'll go there. And then the dude's like, he went,
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That just reminded me. What do you guys think about not tipping? Because customer service and stuff. Have you guys heard that argument that's been going around recently?
Speaking of Reservoir Dogs.
Well, I was gonna say,
Getting
like,
rid of tipping?
More places are asking for tips.
or
And
charging a tip charge.
My mentality has always been, if you pay before you get your service, you shouldn't be tipping because you tip based on
Sure.
service.
Right.
Like, if you give me my food and then I pay at the end, then
You know
you
what
tip
tip-
because
you know
you
what tip
tip
stands
based
for?
on service. But like when I'm at the counter and they ask for a tip first, I'm like, you haven't done anything yet.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on my
That
food.
part. That part, Phil.
No.
I agree with that part
to
so much.
ensure
Like
proper
I
service.
To ensure proper service?
Prompt.
service.
Okay, well,
I didn't
some
know
people
that.
don't-
I found that
I didn't know either, but like sometimes people, I hate that shit. It'd be like okay, so they always do like this. Can I get this and that? But okay, yeah. So you just want to answer a few questions before you insert your
card,
or something like that. And it was like tip, and I'm like,
Yeah,
no.
they're asking for tip before you pay, before you even insert your card now. And I'm like,
look, no, you didn't do nothing. I don't
Yeah.
got my food. Why would I
And
tip you before I got my
as,
food?
as
can
someone
always say no.
as someone who has only worked in service, I'm different. I'm indifferent about this because I don't think we should get rid of tipping, especially like
shouldn't.
restaurants and stuff
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
we
Like,
shouldn't.
dude, we don't make a great wage, and they're literally not gonna give anyone a livable wage. So don't get rid of tipping. A lot of servers and stuff, we live off our tips, right? The one thing I will say though is we have to understand as servers, and I've known this ever since I started working. We are more than whatever political correctness is like in the rest of the world.
Sure.
That is our job in general, right? So we understand that we have to be so on point with our service to get a decent tip and understand the thing that someone else loves, the next person hates.
Yep.
It's not just because you have one way of doing things. You could be like, I love checking up on this table every 2 minutes. The next table hates when you check up on them
Because they feel annoyed.
because they feel annoyed, right?
Yeah, I do. I feel that way.
So as a good server, you have to balance that, and you have to know. You have to gauge the table.
You have to be
right?
able to,
or you have to gauge the customer.
Read the room, yeah.
Right. But I'll say this too: don't expect a fucking tip. When you work, you never expect a tip, and know that the second you give the slightest fucking attitude,
Your tip's gone.
your tip is gone.
Yeah.
If you don't get me wrong, I have done this where I am well aware that I'm in a shitty mood. I don't give a fuck about tips today. I'm going to give everyone.
I'll take my $6.99.
I will take my
Shut up your
$8 an
ass.
hour. And yeah, and I will fucking. I'm going to be rude to everyone because that's what I want to do today. I am well aware that I'm not making shit today.
So
and I will do that. I've done that before.
I don't like when they expect a tip.
Here's my point.
Shouldn't expect a tip.
As a consumer, I feel like I shouldn't be expected to subsidize your wages. Like, the tip should be extra. Like, the fact that these places where you get tipped, they can pay you less
Understand
than
with that
minimum
mentality,
wage.
though? Understand with that mentality? It's like, fuck. It's like if you tip, it's like,
Wait,
I have some cousins that
What
do
do you say?
this.
Sorry, I didn't.
Like, he doesn't feel like they have to, like, make up for the living wages.
Yeah, that's true. In a
I
way,
get that.
But
I get that, but also understand that mostly, if you're going to like if you're going to a
if
restaurant,
you're gonna go eat, expect a tip.
expect a tip.
It's-
Don't go to a
that's-
restaurant and be like, I only have enough for the bill. That's fucked up.
Yeah, but it's
if
like
you're
when
going
you
in
go
with
to
that
Starbucks
mentality,
and they're asking
also
for a
I've
tip.
like,
Wait, I can't hear.
oh sorry.
I was say, but yeah, but like when you're going to like Starbucks and
yes.
they're asking for a tip, or you're
Sure.
going
That's
to like,
they have the little cup though. That's different.
well, a lot
they
of
do it
places
on the
now
iPad.
it's
Oh,
like
they're doing
iPad.
iPad.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's on the iPad.
That's true.
And it's more fucked up, and I like the cup better because they can get their cash tips ASAP. When you do it on the iPad,
Split up.
They split it equally, or they whatever, and then they tax it.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
fucked up.
Yeah, it's way
That's
more, yeah.
different than a restaurant
And
where
then
you're
they
getting
start,
served.
and then they start putting it like on your tax form, like they make this
have you
much
guys-
more, blah blah blah.
Did you guys see that Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the South Park guys,
Yeah.
own their own restaurant now?
And then like there's no tips, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of
There's no
of those
tipping, and
Michelin
they pay their workers like $30 an hour.
There's a lot of
they pay them a
there's
living
a lot of
wage,
Michelin star
and
restaurants
tipping
they
is
don't
banned.
accept
You're not
tips.
allowed to tip in the
Yeah.
restaurant.
I still-
And,
I always-
and that's cool.
Yeah.
If
You know,
if
the
you're
bill's
paying
gonna be
them-
like $1,200, but like because
No, and I totally agree with that if you're paying them $30 an hour. But 99.999% of restaurants are not doing that.
And you know
minimum
what's sad
wage
about
and tips
this?
is what makes up.
It was funny. Just real quick. My buddy, who I went to rehab with, he lived in Tennessee, and he was a bartender out there, and he works off tips. They make $3.50 an
Yeah,
hour,
yeah.
right? And that's okay for the bar industry because they make so much tips, right? Like on whatever, like the honky tonk streets and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah,
street it
it's-
is.
it's right.
The main one is,
Got
but
downtown.
yeah. But I go, like, I used to, when I worked at the bar, dude, I was walking around with like $600 in cash all the time. Like,
Yeah.
and we were kind of similarly comparing our tips, and
yeah.
we were making the same amount because, yeah, but I make so much in tips that I don't need that much money, right? And I go, imagine making $18 an hour on top of that, though. Like, I can't imagine working for $3 an hour. When I started working, it was $8 an hour.
Yeah.
That's what my first job. And, like, I remember getting a 50-cent raise thinking I was, like,
Yep.
the greatest fucking raise in the
Yep.
world. But, like, working for $3 an hour just because you make $600 a day in tips.
Or you
like,
could.
Or you could,
That's not
potentially.
guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, bro, I used to make a shit ton of money in tips. I would make $200-$300 in
I did
tips.
too. I was one time in a whole month I made $900 in tips when I was working at a golf course.
Yeah, but think about this, dude. And maybe this is because we live in the Bay Area, so we realize that $900 is barely your rent, if that, or covers maybe a good portion of it.
It covers your half of the rent.
Half. Yeah, a good half.
Back then, it's
They should start tipping teachers. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
Well, so
you know,
I'm-
but you know what I
No, they
mean.
parents.
And so, like, your $18 an hour is going to be your rent.
That's
So
everything.
tips is what you buy groceries. What you maybe if you want to go, out to
there
drink,
was-
have a life.
Yeah.
That's what your tips are for.
So
And you got to
I'll
understand.
say this,
we
Marcos.
but you understand that that's how we live.
Right. No, I get that.
You know?
I would prefer if instead you guys were simply paid a living wage and tipping was optional.
no, that's in a perfect world for
Yeah.
sure.
Sure.
Here's the thing.
Sure.
Here's the thing that there was this what's it called when they go around and ask hella people poll whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
sure, like
Or when a study. That's a better word. I forgot
Poll, too. Poll.
who
Study,
released
poll.
it.
You
but-
use the poll to conduct the study.
Okay.
Go on.
Yeah. And they talked about how if you live in New York or San Francisco, LA, as a food server, you can make enough on tips to live in that city, which
Yeah.
is like usually hella expensive.
Yeah.
That depends on the place.
Also,
Yeah.
'Cause there's some of those that work a breakfast spot and a dinner spot,
No.
two different places
Right.
to make enough.
And if you're working at McDonald's, you're not making.
And you ain't making
anything.
shit.
Also, remember this: who tells the study
The
people,
fucking
that
manager.
the
Ah,
managers,
that's a good
and
point.
and what do? They jack up those prices.
Prices.
They say that we make so much more
Yeah.
tips than you actually do.
that's
Yeah,
true.
It
absolutely.
is
And they steal them when you pay. When you
Some do, some
a
steal.
lot do where they distribute, which is also it's not fair to the cooks that don't get, like, that's the part that's kind of because I get the servers are getting paid. You know,
Well, cooks generally get paid a lot more than servers.
Yeah.
well, not that much more. Like not
they
not
get-
a lot
they get-
more.
they-
It is more. It's just
Depends where you
hourly.
work. If you work at a nicer restaurant, you're making a lot more.
But
Than
the reason why some of these people now like the tips on the credit card because they distribute it amongst the dishwasher and the cook, and then of course the waiters make more of it. But you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah, I used to get my first job. I remember like some of the servers would be like, "Oh, I didn't make that much. I'm gonna give you like $3." I used to walk out with $10 on a Friday night sometimes.
But
And tips
what sucks
from all my
about this?
servers, and I was a busser.
sometimes It's
they
like
would rip me off.
there was this thing that just got shared that like the unions were striking for UPS drivers.
Yeah.
'Cause
They want it.
they're now making way more than they were like last year, and it's like these rich dudes are complaining that they're making more money, and it's like, well, fucking, it's hard to.
Do this.
Wait, the UPS? What do you mean?
UPS
UPS drivers went on strike
Yeah,
like a year
yeah,
ago or something
yeah.
because they're, you know, especially in pandemic.
Yeah.
The companies,
Made a
Amazon,
fuck ton. And then
UPS,
UPS
FedEx.
drivers, like, fucking a mountain went up. It skyrocketed. Yeah.
so now they're getting paid. Some people are getting like 48 an hour.
The base minimum is now going to be like 40
40
an hour. No,
Yeah.
40 an hour.
But once you're already in like a few years,
Yeah.
now.
a few years, then it goes up to like
goes up to
46 or
40.
Yeah,
potential to 48.
It's kind of like a manual labor. Like,
Yeah,
not manual labor.
I saw
Sure.
something that said
Trade
like
skill.
UPS drivers was about to start making like 150,000 a year, right? And then somebody who would like delivery knowing of that, he was like, no, that's for people who've been on the job for 20, 25
Right,
years, right?
right.
And then also UPS drivers, like, because I work for FedEx, right? Like during the holiday season, and sometimes your pay, like your delivery load was 189 deliveries or like 230 stops. So imagine that's just like during like the holiday time, right? So imagine doing like Amazon during the pandemic and shit when everybody in Amazon, them shits was going up. Like it's a reason why Amazon has so many fucking warehouses and shit. Like you're doing,
They're building a new one in
they're-
Richmond.
Yeah, then they have like a fuck ton of shit, right? So you gotta pay. So you all these fucking thing, and they gotta get out in like a day or two. Like I remember, we had lunch, but we had to figure out a time to make lunch. Like one time we didn't eat till like that night.
You were working there?
Yeah. I was working at FedEx. During like, and then my cousin was like, he was working for Amazon too, but he had to use his car. So like that was like another way, like, okay, you gotta use your car.
Flex.
Yeah. So it was like, all right, so now you like putting miles in your car and shit like that. That's not really paid for. You put it like an independent contractor, so you work with the company but not for us, so they're not liable for shit. Right. And so yeah, so all these delivery shit like that. So you go on strike and like, oh well, they're about to make this sudden amount now, but you gotta think about it, how much that company made before all this shit happening. Like, all right, 3 years during the pandemic, what places was like benefiting the most?
Mall shut down. Like
you're
because of
right.
that shit.
But
yeah.
then deliveries went up. Like,
Oh yeah, 'cause
like
nobody could go anywhere.
yeah, you couldn't go nowhere. So I remember I myself ordered a ton of shit off Amazon.
You'd get it same day sometimes.
Yeah.
You order in the morning.
Yeah. So then like all that, like, oh well, this person's gonna make this much amount, right? It was like, yeah, but this person, like Jeff Bezos, built a rocket to see what outer space was like.
Because of that fucking work they put in.
Because all the-
and that's the thing too, is like during the pandemic, they were some of the only industries working, and they were the most highly affected by COVID because they were the ones working.
What do you mean?
Like they were at risk.
Oh yeah.
So it's like that's also what the strike was about.
Yeah.
Because we're at risk out here working, just
Yeah.
like grocery store employees. It's
Yeah.
like all the non-essential, whatever, or essential
Yeah.
workers. They're kind of like on, like there's a talk about even retail workers, like at like grocery stores and shit,
Yeah.
having like a union because they have no fucking rights.
You know,
And
Safeway-
but like rich people like that write the news are saying how bad it is. Oh, your prices are about to go up, motherfucker. They've been going up for the last 20
Yeah.
years. Like,
and there was like this person who works a cashier shouldn't be getting paid this much. It's like, well, I haven't been paid shit.
Yeah.
Or I haven't been able to have a living wage off this shit for years. But the price at the grocery store keeps going up, But
up.
I'm not getting those benefits.
Yeah.
Like the owner of it is,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And it's like we complain when we see that other people are getting paid more.
Yeah.
Or I'm not saying you are, but like that they're asking for tips. But we never, look like what's the root of the fucking problem.
Right, and what's
Right.
really sad is that there was a time in this country's history where living wages or better wages used to be paid to service workers.
Yeah.
But when the Great Depression hit, the restaurants were like, okay, nobody has any money. We can't really afford to pay you guys, your old salary. So you're just going to have to make it up in tips. Tipping was not a thing before then. That was new in 1929, 28 or whatever, right?
Late 1800s.
And so they said, all right, well, when the economy gets better, we'll go back to paying you. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of never went back to, even though the economy rebounded, they never went back to paying it. But the other countries, even a McDonald's worker in Sweden can afford rent. Yeah. That's ridiculous.
That's true.
There's all this proof that these restaurants can pay you a living wage. They just refuse to because they're greedy. And it's disgusting.
And the same thing with teaching. Like teaching, the reason why the profession of teaching is so damn low is because teaching, and it's why it's a woman-dominated field, because a teacher was always a woman who went into the workforce to help out the husband who was making most of the money to add to what they are. Like it was like kind of out of necessity. Where it's like, I need a little job to kind of help with the husband. That's why it's always been so low over decades of why it's not. Why don't teachers make more? It's like because it always was seen as this type of job. It's like, oh, they only need to make this amount because the husband is making this amount, and that money or that amount has never really grown to increase to really okay, this is somebody who has a job and they're living off this wage.
Not only that, but it's like, you're essentially being asked to do one of the most important tasks in the world. Yeah. And that is essentially prepare the young people for the future, the future of your nation. That's the basis of infrastructure right there.
And the risk of the job has increased.
Yeah, exactly.
We just did a training at work. Yeah. We it's part of our because every year you got to redo the harassment training and all that. Yep. Now the new section they added at the bottom is active shooter emergency protocol.
We've had to do that too.
You have to do that too.
We've locked down.
So now there's a new preventative measures that we have to take. It is kind of hide, call 911. I get it, but it just that's the teachers gone up, and now I was reading somewhere, I forgot the list. I think I saw it on some channel where it's food delivery server level of danger is higher than police officer. Yeah, I think it's so. I saw that.
No one's out trying to steal anything from the police.
He's giving us the light, so we
got the light three times already. So
that's been the Voice Party,
and we're out.
Woo.